Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Culture Podcast. You know the podcast for the unsung hero. Person with a voice you might not necessarily know who they are. So they come to kick it with your boy, Robert Bobby Reed. I got the beautiful ladies from Zeta Phi Beta in here tonight. What's up, ladies? How y'all doing?
We're doing wonderful. How are you?
How are you?
I'm so blessed. I'm like, oh man, this is like Valentine's Day was on the 15th, but today is my day, man. I just feel so blessed to have y'all on, man, because y'all are doing some amazing things. So thank y'all for coming on and kicking with me, man. How are y'all? How's y'all day going?
No complaints. It's been wonderful.
Absolutely good.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So y'all came on, man, because y'all got some special stuff going on. And I thank y'all for sharing it with the audience, man. This is my very first time having a sorority on. So I feel blessed because I know sororities. I went to Jackson State, so I'm familiar with the Zetas. I know about, I'm familiar with that. I was like, oh, okay, Zetas. I might be able to find some of it. But no, just kidding. But I want to just, I want y'all to introduce yourself real quick before we hop in. I want to start with Siobhan because Siobhan, she's been calling me. She's been on it. She's been working it hard. She's been like, she work here. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Ms. Roebuck.
Okay, my name is Siobhan Roebuck. This is actually my 5th year in Zeta and my 5th year with Tau Alpha Zeta. Boom.
Okay, and Mercedes, you can go next. Go for it.
Hello, I am Mercedes Young. I have been a Zeta for 25 years. Today is my Zeta anniversary, so I'm really just excited to celebrate that. And I've been with TAS since the beginning. I am not a charter member. I am a member that helped the charter.
All right. Okay, Michelle, what you got?
Hey, my name's Michelle. I've been in Zeta Phi Beta for 41 years.
Wow.
Was inactive for a while, but I came back home to TAS in 2019.
Okay, and Stacy, what you got? I'm gonna swing over to Stace. What you got, Stace?
Hello, so I am Stacy McSwine. I have been a Zeta for 25 years. And let me just tell you, Robert, it is something about this sisterhood that's just so strong. It is so soft, it's enduring, it's empowering. And in my opinion, it's essential to the survival of women. And so I'm excited that you have my sorors on your podcast today so that we can talk about all things Zeta and TAS.
Oh man, I'm getting a little geek. Tamara, what you got? Tamara, what you got? I can't wait. What you got, Tamara? Who are you?
Hello. I am Tamara Harrington. I have been a Zeta for 27 years. And I'm a charter member of Tau Alpha Zeta, and I'm the current president of the chapter. So it's just been such a blessing to be a part of such a dynamic group of women, not just locally, but just internationally. I mean, we do big things, we do big events, and we just love our service organization. And I'm just thankful to be a part and to have been chosen all those years ago.
You know, one thing that I admire so much, man, and you know, I hate to allude to it being just about the Black woman, but I'm gonna just go and say it. Man, Black women, man, y'all have really stepped up big time over these last like 10, 15, 20 years. Like, y'all not just taking the average waitress job, you're not just taking the average role in society. Y'all are really setting the mark for our Black families, man. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate that. And if nobody's ever told you that, if any brothers never told you, we're very proud of y'all, man. You know, so I just want to get that out there in the open. So tell me what y'all got going on, man. Y'all came
Oh, wait,
on...
Robert, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, Robert, to stop your flow. But just on that note, we do have an audience that we wanted to make sure could see this streaming and share it. And for some reason, I do not believe it is sharing to our page. I just want to see if we need to do a quick check-in just to kind of make sure that things are kind of in order.
Share it, man.
Okay,
let me see. We can do it that way. We got time.
Thank you.
So do y'all see the stream on my page? Do you see the stream on my page right now?
I do.
Okay, so take it from my page and share it all over.
Okay. It is on your...
It's on his Facebook page, Sorora. If you can grab it and drop it onto the TAS page, because there are so many people who want to hear this conversation this evening. So we want to give all the people access, Robert.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
the one
yes.
thing about it, you know, the crazy part about podcasting and stuff like that, you might not necessarily get everybody in the front end, but then you wake up the next morning, you got 2, 3, 4,000 people that watched, you know. So, but we want to make sure they watching right now because this is International Women's Day.
Yes.
I almost feel like
Absolutely.
I wish I could just give all y'all a glass of wine to have tonight, right now.
We celebrate being a woman every day. We know the strengths that we endure.
Let me ask y'all something though. Mercedes, she said something early on that a lot of times, and we'll as you share the stream, this is some sidebar.
Awesome.
Most Black women, when you go into labor, you go into the hospital, you know, we lose more Black women during labor than any other woman in this country.
We do.
What do you think that is? Why do you think that is, ladies?
It's several things. I mean, one, the disproportionate amount of health facilities in the Black and Brown communities and having to travel and to navigate how to get to those hospitals that will provide a great prenatal care. It's unfortunate, but it's our reality in the Black and Brown communities. I know some other stores want to chime in, but that's the biggest disparity for that I absolutely know is to be accurate.
Anybody else want to add to that?
She's absolutely right. I think another part of that is the fact that a lot of African American women as a whole do not, as Tamara said, go for prenatal care. And as a result, complications happen later on in the pregnancy that they're not aware of.
I think for me, we just can't ignore the healthcare disparities when it comes to women of color and our voices not being heard when we're saying this is our problem and it not being diagnosed with the Black disease, with the hypertension, with the maybe diabetes or all of those things. It is sometimes the strong Black woman that our pain isn't listened to because we're strong. And so we have a higher threshold for pain. So I think a lot of that lies with the disparities in healthcare when it comes to women of color. I think that is where the crux of it is, that sometimes we don't go to prenatal visits because we don't feel comfortable because we've been treated poorly in the past by healthcare workers. So a lot of times it's just the stigma. And I hate to say it, this is when our magic works against us because people are so used to us being dynamic. People are so used to us being strong and being overcomers and doing things that the average woman can't, right? So somehow they have pegged us as superhuman when we're not. We bleed like others. We have pain like others. So for me, I think that is where we find those great numbers of women dying because of labor complications being heavily with Black women. And it's just those disparities that we have to overcome. And we have to get people in healthcare to understand that our pain is like everyone else's. My Blackness does not mean I can tolerate more than the woman sitting next to me.
So true.
Wow. You know, I could feel it. You were speaking from the gut, and I felt that. You know, because I lost my mom when she was young. My mom died when she was like 32 years old. I was in high school. She died very young. And I always felt like in the Black community, they say, God, if it's your time to go, then it's your time to go. But I feel like a lot of that stuff is from negligence. I think that negligence is the number one killer in the African American community. Do y'all think that sometimes? And we're gonna hop into everything else, but I'm just saying, as Black people, I think negligence. It's not always a baby's time to go when something happens, right?
100%. I agree. I think to me, I think it's the negligence because we're neglected in our communities, right? We're neglected when it comes to resources. We're kind of neglected when it comes to opportunities. So we have to seek things out differently. You know, I was speaking to a fellow dance mom at a ballet class the other day, and she had just recently moved from up north to from the Evanston area to Hyde Park. And I have a 6-year-old and she has a 5-year-old. And she's like, finding a gymnastics program for my 5-year-old is so hard in the area without me having to drive so far. And it is, right? It's not like you can just walk down the street and see the new karate shop that's built. And those little things have lasting impact. And it's just a cycle that continues and continues and continues. And when neglect happens, people find a way to fill that void. When you feel neglected as an adult and you feel that you're missing something, you're gonna fill that void with something. You're gonna figure out how to get it in there. And sometimes that's what we find. When we are feeling neglected, we fill that void with something else that comes up, and it can have nothing to do, and it could be all negative. But if it fills that temporary void, we'll go in that direction. So I do think it's major.
I'm gonna switch the subject real quick while I got y'all here, because I don't have an opportunity to have this type of group together. You know, I deal with a lot of people. I've done a lot of shows. I mean, a lot of shows. But I got this group together. When you see the culture of hip hop music, I just want to go there real quick. And we can take 5 minutes on this. And the way that they, the perception of the way that they do our women, you know, the way that they talk about our women, the way that the words that they use to describe our women. How do y'all feel about that? Like, I'm not that type of guy because I was raised differently. But how do you feel about that?
The reality is that the negative connotations that come through rap music and hip hop, a lot of times, more times often than not, it's their environment. That's how women they've been raised with. That's how women in their communities, that's their siblings, that's how those rappers and hip hop artists, that's part of their everyday language. So in some communities, it is not negative. It's a term of endearment. Whereas others who weren't raised that way, or who were and decided to change how they spoke to their children, how they speak around others, or how they're allowed others to speak to them, they've made that choice. So it depends on where those artists are coming from. Right, and it doesn't make them wrong in some respects, right? But it also doesn't make us feel good either.
Right.
Absolutely.
Stacey, what you doing over there, Stacey? You over there quiet, man. What's going on with that pretty smile you got over there? Stacey, what you got for the people? If you was to come to a young girl right now and to talk to her about what's her next move she need to do in life. She's struggling, trying to figure it out. She's trying to do something with her life. She don't know what to do with education. She don't know what to do with her life. What would you tell a young girl right now? What type of advice would you give her?
You know what, Robert? That's a very interesting question, right? I think it's dynamic. There's multiple layers to it. But where I would start is I would just encourage that young woman, right? And remind her that life is not a photograph. Okay. You know, photograph, once you take it, it's done. Okay. Life is more of a movie. You get take after take after take after take. And so you don't need to be defined by your current state. You always have the opportunity to do things better and different. And you have the opportunity to ruthlessly pivot your life at any point that you decide that you want to choose better for yourself. And I would also tell that young woman that I know that it's all about access. So how can I help you? How can I show you and grant you access to the next level of your life? Because I think that's the missing piece. I think sometimes we get into positions and we get kind of so threatened or bothered that someone might take our position that we don't slide a chair beside us and say, listen, young woman, I want to show you the way that this works. I want to help you. I want to coach you along because I see greatness in you. And I know that the sky is the limit and your life can be, you can have multiple versions of yourself. I think sometimes also young women think they can only do one thing or the other. You can do all of the things, okay? Right. No one's stopping you from doing that but you. So that's what I would tell that woman. And then I would end that conversation, not just with the period, but with the comma and say, how can I support you? How can I help you? Who can I introduce you to? Oh, you don't have, those contacts. Hand me your phone. Let me give you a couple of these contacts. And then I would make that introduction to those people and I would monitor that progress for her. And so any young woman who needs assistance running across me or any of my sorors on this live, or in general, will be definitely better off. So that, that's what I would share.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about,
right.
man. I just got that. Man, I'm getting hyped. All right, okay. All right, now we're finna get into the interview there now, man. Hey, all right, okay, all right. We finna get into the
Nah,
questions.
Robert, I feel that energy. You got us together,
Yeah.
Robert.
Before
got
we
us
I'm up in this mug,
listen,
man.
look, before we start, if you have a couple more questions, because thank you for changing your settings. There's so many people wanting to hear this conversation, and we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity to do that. But I think that is a terrific question that you ask, and I want to say, I think we should all be asking ourselves that every day, in every situation in our life. How can we positively impact the people that we run across on a daily basis? We don't need to be on a stage, on a podcast live, or be a public figure to make positive impact for people, because it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
I love it,
Absolutely.
man. And like I could go on and on, because one thing about it is like people miss the meat and potatoes of life. And that's
They do.
like a lot of times they say straight and direct communication is offensive, because so many people are so used to everybody going around the road trying to be forthcoming. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to speak direct with our people, man. We got to be direct and tell them, hey, listen, there's no quick path to success. There's no quick path to education. But I guarantee you this, if you get an education, it will set you up for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Because I graduated from college. I went to college, and it wasn't a choice that I wanted to do, but I always was, always like, college, I got to go try it. And then when I saw the movie School Days, I was like, I'm going to college. You remember? Did anybody else see School Days? When
Absolutely.
I saw that
Absolutely.
party, go ahead, Siobhan.
You know what did it for me? Actually watching A Different World. That made me want to go to college.
You ain't
That
lying.
made me want to go to college.
Yeah.
Ain't lying, man. A Different World, man.
That
Everybody was,
that did it for me.
man. I think back when I was at Jackson State, we used to run to the dorms when I was coming home, and I think that we need more
You
shows
telling
like
your
that.
age, Robert. You telling
I'm
your
53.
age.
I'm 53.
Running
I'm
to the
53.
dorms, watching A Different World. Let's go, Robert.
Hey, listen, a lot of people didn't make it to 53. I'm glad as
Right.
hell.
Let's
I'm
go.
glad as hell. I'm so
Okay.
grateful to God. But I just wanted to get into this, man, because then we can go back to the sidebar. But what is Zeta Phi Beta sorority? Tell me, anybody want to talk to that? Tell me, what is Zeta Phi Beta sorority?
Yeah, I can talk to that because everybody doesn't know. So that's a really good question. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated is a sorority that was founded in 1920 on the campus of Howard University by 5 phenomenal young college women, Arizona Cleaver Stemmons, Pearl A. Neal, Myrtle Tyler Faithful, Viola Tyler Goings, and Fannie Petty Watts. Now, this is 1920, right? So for a couple of years leading up to this, right, there were so many different things that were happening with the Ku Klux Klan and whatnot. And being on a HBCU campus, knowing the fight that not only Black people were enduring, but the fight that women had to endure, right, to just be recognized and to be acknowledged. And so they came together, and our organization is founded on 4 principles: scholarship, sisterhood, finer womanhood, and service. And these are the areas in which we attract women who are interested in becoming a member, because these are the 4 principles that we will always scream from the hilltops and we always exemplify. And the great thing about Zeta Phi Beta is we started there in 1920, right? 101 years ago, or 102 years. This is 2022. Lord, time is moving.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. But we have grown. Zeta Phi Beta is not just based in the United States. We are an international organization. We are in 9 different countries with more on the horizon, right? Over 20,000 women in Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated internationally, all doing the service work that our 5 founders laid down for us. So we've been innovative, right, since day one. I mean, to think about those 5 women coming together, like, what can we do to strengthen us? And I am so sure that they couldn't have even imagined the barriers that they were going to break, right? Creating Zeta Phi Beta. So that's just in itself a reason to feel proud, right? And a reason to want to give to your community and want to do better as an individual woman, then want to do better as a sister in your community. But we've been, like I said, we've been breaking barriers forever. We've been so innovative in that we chronologically or chronicled a number of firsts, right? We were the first, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with NPHC, National Pan-Hellenic Council, right? That's where all the Divine Nine, all the 9 international or national organizations are a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But we were the first to centralize an actual operating national headquarters of all the Divine Nine.
Okay.
We were the first to charter a chapter in Africa. We are the first to form auxiliary groups, and Tau Alpha Zeta has an auxiliary group, and our auxiliary group is called Arcanettes, which is a national name, right? But these are for young ladies ages 14 through 18, just learning how to become young women and what to expect as you grow into adulthood, preparing them with life skills and preparing them for womanhood and preparing them for college and employment, right? And to be great service leaders in their communities in which they reside in. So, and we were also the first to actually be constitutionally bound to a fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's on paper, right? We are first, and we are the only on paper.
I love it.
Got to put that out there.
I love it.
But yeah, so Zetas have been helping others forever, and that actually coined our term Z-Hope, Zetas helping other people excel. And is our hugest part of our service that we do throughout international organization. And we partner with organizations such as March of Dimes. We have been their partners on paper for 46 years. Yes. And so while we were talking, I don't know if we were offline or online, but the prematurity awareness, right? We were just talking about that in terms of Black and Brown communities and providing awareness throughout the month, so that way communities and young people and adults, right, can have some resources to look for on an annual basis. But we also do things like elder care and adopt a school. So Zeta has been doing a lot. And let me tell you, 2020 was our centennial year, right? We were 100. Zeta Phi Beta said we are giving away one $100,000 scholarship to a rising senior going to college. And I know that they had, I say they, but the people who had to review the applications, we had over 2,000 submissions, and one young lady was chosen. You know what $100,000 does in someone's life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In education alone, I mean, it was just astounding. And we just keep getting better and better. 2021, we gave away $125,000 from our national, to one person. But that's on top of all the other thousands of dollars we give to undergrads and women and men who are in graduate school. So Zeta has just been truly just a phenomenal organization, and I can't imagine my life without Zeta.
You said TAS.
Yeah.
I don't want to take for granted that everybody knows what that is. Is that an acronym, TAS? What is that? Anybody want to speak to that? Go ahead, Tamara. I'm sorry.
That's right. It's Tamara. Tau Alpha Zeta.
Tamara. I'm sorry.
Tau Alpha Zeta. Yeah. So we shortened
Tau Alpha Zeta.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? And you said something else within that conversation. You said teaching young girls how to be women, like molding them. Like people underestimate, and Michelle, I want you to speak to that. People underestimate the importance of molding an individual because we all need that. We can't take for granted these young girls know that. And I think they lack that. Can you speak to that, Michelle, real quick? About the molding process with that?
Well, part of that is how you carry yourself. When you carry yourself as a finer woman, when you carry yourself and show the world that you respect yourself, young women can follow and see that. But along with that, you have to bring them along. You have to talk with them. You have to show them how they can be molded into that type of person. But first of all, it's self-respect for themselves, having the desire to be better or to progress to what they want and see for themselves in the future. So that's how we would bring them along and mold them.
Okay, so Mercedes and any one of y'all, any one of y'all can hop in, because don't you think society take for granted that these kids automatically know?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Somebody expound on that. I mean, don't you think that? I think everybody's like, you should know, right?
Well, I think, you know, what it is that, you know, we need to, as a society, right, just be willing to extend so much more grace to people, right?
Mhm.
Just like how we want to extend people to extend grace to us, right? And so just as my sorors were just saying, Tamara and Michelle, it, you know, I think it starts with young women seeing us as models and role models, and they are seeing us exemplify everything those four pillars Sora Tamara talked about, and seeing us kind of living in our truth and walking in our greatness. And that is, you know, for some people is it's a shift, and they're like, what is that? What is that? And not letting those moments go by, but taking the time to really encourage and show them more. And it goes back to everything Sora Tamara was saying. Like, that's why so many of everything that makes up Zeta, like working with, you know, moms and their babies through March of Babies, working through Z Hope, having these scholarship opportunities to engage those young women who are interested in doing better, but not truly knowing the next step to take. Like, we're here to help encourage them, not only in words, but in action. And so I think it starts with grace. And so I know that we bestow grace on so many, and that has transitioned into just positive experiences for them and for us as women and as sisters within this organization.
I'm finna learn something tonight. I'm learning some stuff.
We here to teach you, Robert.
I'm over here. I feel like a kid again. I'm learning again. I'm back in school again.
Yes.
Mercedes, do you
Yes.
think that for the most part that people take for granted, you know, that you know, people are automatically just gonna thrive as young people? Do you think that automatically because people come from a good foundation, good home, good stuff? I just want to ask you from a perspective from that point.
Yeah.
Because my kids were raised, they spoiled as hell. So
Mhm.
do we think that because a kid is from a certain foundation, they automatically pick up? Don't they need the same structure and foundation and motivation?
So to me, I'm thinking like you're saying a whole bunch of absolutes for me. You said one earlier that kind of had me like, "Ooh, Robert, I want to go back. You may have to invite me back another day so we can
We're
talk
gonna
about
do
that."
this every time, man. We got a relationship, man. We
Um,
can do this once a month. Well, however y'all want to do this, man. I love the camaraderie. I love the sisterhood, and it's important.
So I know I've cracked a joke, and for those who know me, know that like me and kids, we have a love-hate relationship. I love the babies, right? But as a mom, I remember with my first daughter when I was teaching her math, right? And I'm like, you have one apple here, you have one orange here. How many pieces of fruit do you have all together? And she said 5. And I'm like, what? You have one. Why is that not 2, right? So at that moment, I was like, wait a minute. I realized in that very moment, I am responsible for pouring everything into this being. If I want this person to be compassionate, I have to show it and teach it. If I want this person to have a moral compass, I have to show it and teach it. If I want this person to be honest, I have to show it and teach it. Yesterday, I posted my oldest daughter on Facebook as my firstborn. And one of my friends who I've been friends with for over 20 years was like, do you remember when we got in from the club that night and it was 4 a.m. and we retired? And this was a good 15 years ago. I'm like, yes. She was like, and you still went to Walgreens and grabbed your baby that candy because before you left, you said, when I come home, I'm gonna bring her candy. That was my honest way of parenting, right? Even though I was tired, even though everybody was like, we're not going to Walgreens for you with candy. But it's just setting that standard. Sometimes we don't want to let our kids know that we are sad. Sometimes we don't want to let our kids know that we didn't do too well at work today or that we don't know how to do something. So we don't even teach them how to fully accept failure sometimes. We don't teach them how to process. We're teaching them the things that they taught us. So I think sometimes we assume, and what happens, oh, you have a good foundation, you have a good family, then you have it all together. Good foundations and good family, it doesn't mean that you know how to build relationships. And parenting and mentoring, the crux of that is relationships, because the crux of influencing someone else's decision is to have a good relationship with them. I can't influence you if I don't have a relationship with you, right? So I think that is where we kind of falter a little bit. We think that things and what you look like on paper translate to success. And unfortunately, that does not always mean that. And then we have to also determine what is your definition of success. Because Robert, what is successful to you is not to me, right?
Right.
Like I think earlier you said there's no shortcuts or no quick ways to success. But what is your definition? For some of our inner city kids, if they get that 2000 S class, they've done it. And that's all they need, and they are successful, right? So we have to be careful when we say, let's be direct, and let's say there's no quick way to success, or if you get educated, you're guaranteed success, because there's so many variables that go into that.
I want to shift gears real quick. Okay, was somebody saying something? I want to cut y'all off. Was somebody finna say something?
Yeah,
Anybody want to add to that? Go ahead.
Yeah, me. I was going to say, I think that now, definitely most importantly, we need to learn how to be more transparent with our kids, and especially the younger people, because sometimes it seems like, or they think that we have it all together all the time and we done everything, or, we've never been where they were before. But, as long as we let them know that I've been where you are, and out of that became something else. So no, you don't have to be stuck in your one situation that you're in. Yes, just like Mercedes said, there are several different ways to be successful, and whatever that success is depends on you. But then at the same time, let these kids know you're not in it by yourself. You're never in it by yourself. There's always somebody that you can reach out to.
And I just, the love that I feel in this room, man, I wish the whole world could feel it. I'm serious, because I think the world lacks it. I think everybody had their guard up when it comes to communication, when it comes to association, when it comes to demonstration. Everybody's watching for somebody to try to get over on them. And I would love to get back to the days when Green Acres was real. You remember back in the days, Green Acres, maybe anybody might know that. But I want to ask y'all this real question. Okay, somebody might be younger. I want to ask y'all this question. Okay, so gangs and all of that stuff is ruling the community. So it's more gang members than it is fraternities and sororities. How do y'all get out into the community? Anybody? How do you?
Robert,
what are y'all doing to get out into the community?
I was gonna say, Robert, got to challenge you. I think it's an assumption. So I think we have to be very careful as African Americans, as Black people in America, to not always believe what the media is feeding us. So the media would like you to believe that we have more gang members than we do successful members of society. Unfortunately, I'm going to challenge that, and I can't accept that as fact. I am going to say I believe in our communities we have more people doing well. Unfortunately, the people getting the attention are the negative people, because guess what? There's a group of people called the majority, and that's how I'm going to reference them for this podcast. The majority, that they have some things by design where they want the minorities to continue to feel oppressed and as minorities. So we do get into the community, but I just don't want you to kind of keep going with the thought that it's more bad guys and good guys in the Black community, because it's not. But I'll let
Anybody else?
The community.
Anybody else? Add to it. I like it.
She said it all.
You know what?
Come on, Sorors, let them know we do lots in the community, right, Soror Tamara?
Yeah, so I mean, every organization is different in their level of community involvement. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a Stork's Nest where we help young ladies and single women, right, who need prenatal assistance, I'm going to call it coaching, because there is a really great curriculum that we take these people through while they're pregnant and when they first give birth, right? And then we help them form their own network of support, right? So we do that in the community. We do back to school drives, and for education, we do numerous food drives, and I'm speaking about Tau Zeta in particular, right? We do numerous food drives around the holidays, and sometimes without the holidays, we partner with women's organizations, women's drug facilities, and we provide them with clothing and training and support in the things that they're doing in the community, right? We adopt a school. We have a elementary school that we've adopted, and we do things with them almost on a monthly basis, right? And sometimes, like, for Black History Month, we were with the kindergartners on Zoom. We provided the materials for them to make a little collage, And that was our way of supporting them, right? So it doesn't always have to be some big grandiose thing that we're doing in the community, right? But it's all those little things, and then allowing those young people and adults to get connected to resources that they may never have even thought about or were intimidated about trying to gain that information. So there's a lot of things that we do. We support VFW, Veterans Fair, whatever the VFW means, y'all know what I mean. You know, so it's a lot that we do in the community. And it's—
What about the rally? You remember last year we partnered with Cook County Trauma and we had the anti-gun violence rally.
Yep.
That's
We
right.
had it right here in Bronzeville. That was a first for us. We do have a Get Engaged committee that they are focused on. Actually, I'm not going to name drop, but we do have a sitting judge in our chapter. So she sees kind of firsthand.
Drop that name. Drop my
I'm not
name.
dropping no name. Judge didn't tell me to drop a name, but you will see it.
Hey, but Mercedes, I agree with you though, man. They never put the positive images out there.
Yeah.
We don't control the media, so
They only do it in spurts, maybe
they
in
only
spurts.
do it.
But
Right, unless it's
But
LeBron.
Robert, you know
James
why,
or
right? Robert, you know why, right?
No, why? Tell me.
Okay.
I'm a fifth grader. Tell me.
Let's go. See? Oh, let's go.
I'm a fifth grader. Tell me, y'all.
And no, this is real easy because we all have it, right? At the core of every human being, you want to behave in a manner that gets you the most attention.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very, even if it's negative, but as little babies cry when they need attention, right?
Right.
If a parent wants to break a baby from crying, what do? They ignore the bad behavior. They don't give it attention. So at our core, most humans want attention, good or bad. So people behave in a manner that gets them the most attention. If we are consistently only getting attention for our violent acts, for our criminal activity, it is almost a motivator. I have heard a group of young boys say, hey, we're gonna make the news tonight. And they didn't mean it in a good way. So people behave in a manner that gets them the most attention. And that, to me, that is why they highlight that. Between that and wanting to make us seem and appear one-sided, because it's easier to harm or kill someone that you believe already is a bad guy.
Whew, man.
That's my thought.
All right. Okay. All right. We got to change it up a little bit here because we can do this. Go ahead. Did I cut somebody off?
no.
I mean, I'm just pumped up, man, and I got to swing over to the sneaker affair, okay, y'all. So we want to swing over to what we showed up for. I just wanted to get the real stuff out, man, because people need to hear the real side to what's going on. You know, sometimes we fluff everything with socialization, and we have to deal with the reality of what life is. And those are the things that we need the screws and bolts to our families, because that's ultimately what it's all about. Because when holidays come around, you see how important family is when you're sitting there by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all, man, all the work that y'all been doing in the community. Shout out to y'all as strong Black women, not strong Black women, we dropped the strong, but as women who are making the move and moving the needle. So let's talk about the sneaker affair. What's going on with the sneaker affair, man? Anybody want to chime in on that? Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and take that one. We are super, super excited to be bringing our first in-person event in the past 2 years. Everybody's been on lockdown.
Oh, God.
Everybody is tired of looking at each other on the TV. We tired of looking at each other on Zoom. We are ready to go outside. Outside is open. Open. So our first event is our sneaker affair and speakeasy, which will be on March 26th at 7 p.m. It's definitely an event that you do not want to miss.
Where?
Can't tell you where. Not yet.
It's a speakeasy. It's a speakeasy. You don't know where you're going until it's time.
So
easy.
It's a speakeasy. So here's the thing about a speakeasy. And actually this is quite interesting. So if you look at 1918, when we had the whole first pandemic going on and things like that, it took the country maybe about a good 2 years to come out of that. But then in the meantime, while that was going on, there was always an underground situation going on where people would have like parties and things like that. Hence the emergence of a speakeasy. So when you go to a speakeasy, speakeasy, right? So when you go to a speakeasy, what you had to do was have a password. You had to know somebody. You had to be in the know. So when you got to the front door of whatever location, you never knew where it really was. Somebody had to take you. You had to go with somebody or something like that. So when you got there, you either had to give a knock, give a password, say, hey, I know such and such, and maybe they'll let you in if you had the right password. So then when you got into the actual speakeasy, what you got into was an experience. So you really didn't know what was going on. You maybe might have heard a few things here and there, but you never really knew. So once you got into it, you saw that what was going on was something that you had no idea was even possible. And so with that being said, with us coming out of this whole COVID situation, 2 years that we've been on lockdown, and now we're ready to party and have a good time, and we miss everybody. We really do.
I'm coming.
So
Let's go.
So when you coming into this sneaker affair and speakeasy, oh, it's going to be an affair. It's going to be something that you don't want to miss at all. What we like to do is we always try to give our guests an experience. We want to give them something that they are either like, you know what? How long can we keep this party going? I don't really want to go home yet. I don't really want to leave yet.
Right.
Yep, that's it.
And
I'm ready to die. Can we have a pre-speakeasy?
Seriously, we don't want them to go nowhere if they don't want to leave. And then on top of that, if you do have to leave, we want you to have the feeling of, man, that was something. How they do that? Every time they seem to top themselves, what they got going on next. And so that's what this is about. And then not only that, but what better way to actually come out of this pandemic that we've been in. And this is our scholarship fundraiser. So what we're doing, we're paying it forward. Okay. So as we were talking about earlier, what can we do in our communities and how can we help these young people and help the kids in the community? Well, this is what this is for. Anybody can throw a party. That's easy.
Right.
But it's a different feel, and it's a different feeling when you're doing it for a purpose. And when we're doing something and having this affair, we're doing it for a purpose. It's not to benefit us. It's to benefit us going forward with pushing these kids forward, to making them better, to giving them a better future. That's what it's all about. That's what Zeta is about. That's what Taz is all about. That's why I brag a little bit differently about my chapter. I would just say.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I like that.
That's all right. Yes.
That's right.
I like that.
That's
I love people who are passionate about life, man. And what I'm getting from this energy, man, is passion. Some people like roll out of bed. Y'all jump out of bed. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be running out of bed. And that's what life is all about, because you only get one shot at it each day. And the energy that y'all bringing in here, that's what it's all about. I want to ask y'all, what can you wear to that, though? So what do you wear?
Oh, you better come shy, but don't come at all. Okay, I'm just saying.
And bring your flyer sneakers.
I'm talking about bring your A game, because Taz is not going to disappoint. So this is the thing. We want you to match our fly. Right? Okay. Our goal is always to set the finer standard. Our goal is always to represent Zeta at the highest light. At the highest light. Our goal is always to make sure Taz is represented well. So we want to make sure you're represented well. So that means you get your flyer sneakers. Those sneakers you bought right before COVID hit, and you like, I can't wear my J's because I don't have anywhere to go.
You can't go nowhere.
Leave those out. Yeah, so make sure your sneakers are fly. Make sure your suit is crisp. Make sure your dresses are fitting right. I like it tight, but everybody doesn't have to. Go with whatever your personal preference is. And if you still are not sure what you wear, I always say, Google. Google is your best friend. Put in your search engine, Black sneaker affair. And when I tell you go to images, you will get so much inspiration. So keep it classy, keep it cute. We want sexy, and we want fly sneakers.
Ooh, I feel like
Rob, you have your sneakers?
Oh man, my shoe game tough. I might change up every hour,
Let's go.
I got it like that. But
Oh, Taz, that's an idea. Change the sneakers every hour. Y'all want to do it?
You gotta change them up every hour.
I
And
heard
then-
of some new days coming out soon, like right around the sneaker of that time. Is that correct? Because apparently they drop like every 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm
at this
telling you,
point.
man. Listen, what you do, you bring all your shoes in there in the box so you can lick the bottom. They never been worn before. I never wore my shoes. They all knew I could lick the bottom. All right. No, I got that from the guys in the hundreds. But yeah, you know what? I appreciate y'all.
Wow.
coming
I'm
on,
sorry.
man. Wow.
I'm in the hundreds. Wow. Just had to go ahead.
I feel so blessed, man. It's just amazing how God is, man. And I'm not a person that's afraid to speak highly about God in public. I know a lot of people hide him and don't speak in public, but I'm one of those people. I speak because he's done so much for me in my life. So I know this is about God right now, what you all are about. Let me ask y'all something. The pandemic, though, did it kick y'all ass like it kicked everybody else's ass? Didn't you get tired of sitting in the house real quick before we get up out of here? Because we got a little
Yes.
bit more time.
Yes.
Was y'all sick of the
Yes.
pandemic, man?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
was you shocked?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
But you know,
What each individual, tell
If
me, what did you
anything,
learn from it?
I learned that I really love to be around people. I do. I like hanging out with folks. I like running my mouth. I like hobnobbing and all that. I missed all of that with the pandemic going on. I did not know that I really enjoy being around people most of the time.
Mhm.
So,
You got time to go to Walmart, did you? That was the
I'm
only
telling you.
store open.
man, you talking about a field trip every other day. Yes, I got so sick of it, but I do enjoy the silence, but I like to hang out with people. I really do.
That's what's up. Anybody else want to add to their COVID experience?
I think I always knew I was an introvert, extrovert, right? I always knew I was both. But for me, it helped actually level me out because my mind's always moving so much just with the type of work that I do, and all the other things that I do in my life and what my children got going on. And so for me, it was for a while, not the entire 2 years, right? But for me, it was a breath of fresh air.
Right.
While still praying and believing I was going to come out on the other side of this, right? And so that also helped calm me after the first couple of weeks, into it. But it was really helpful for me initially to kind of figure out who I am again, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, and then what new habits or what new things that I can do,
Right.
And I said I was going to read a whole bunch of books, didn't read that. I watched everything on every streaming app available.
Stacey, what you got, Stacey? I gotta hear you. You've been over there quiet, man. I know you're not the quiet one either. Go ahead, Stacey.
I'm quiet sometimes, but
Quiet
think
riot, huh? I'm just
that
kidding. Go ahead.
part, yes. So I think, COVID, one of the great things that COVID did for me is just allowed me the opportunity to slow down and reconnect to what is really important to me, right? And that looks like my family, my sorority, my friends. It really created the space for me to kind of revisit all of those things that in the busyness of life, you kind of let slip to the back burner. And so while we are, I'm mindful that this definitely was a crisis, it was a pandemic, but I always like to look at things as an opportunity. So what is the opportunity that I was able to gain for myself out of this? And those are the things to just really be intentional about reconnecting to all of those things that are important to me.
Go ahead, Michelle. What did you learn? How did it affect your life?
I'm just gonna say it messed up my travel game. I was already chill. I was already working from home. It messed up my travel game, and I was pissed off about it.
Flights was $100. I was the only one on the flight. I was flying like for $100 round trip. I loved it, man.
I couldn't take that chance. I couldn't take that chance.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Mercedes, what did it do to you, man?
The pandemic. For me, it did a couple of things. The big one, it taught me that therapy is okay. Mental health is real. I discovered during the pandemic that I suffer from depression, and I am a notorious masker, right? So I put on my mask, I go out into this world, and I show up. And through it, I was like, oh, mental health is okay. I'm still Mercedes. I'm still having fun with my friends. I have my moments. I have my therapy. But I'm able to still function, and then I can tell the world and I can share my story. So I think that's what it did for me. It let me know that therapy is okay. Mental health is very, very, very important. And hopefully one day I could be like you. I think I'm gonna start me a MySpace Mondays so we can talk about Black women and mental health. When I say MySpace, I mean Mercedes Young Space Mondays. So we can talk about Black women and mental health. And so people don't have to hide. So I think for me, that was one of my biggest takeaways from the pandemic. Like, hey, yo, this is something that we all may need to start talking about.
You know,
I
for me,
love that, Soror. That is incredible. Listen, I think your slogan needs to be, we can go to church and go to therapy. Yeah.
Let's go.
Get that.
Say
Yes.
that. That's true.
Yes, I
You know,
love that, Soror.
I was thinking like during the pandemic, like that was when we lost Kobe Bryant, right? And then the whole thing spiraled. Like, okay, I don't know if you guys watch basketball, you ladies watch basketball and stuff like that, but like when that happened with Kobe Bryant, that's when I realized, okay, hey, you know, life, you really got to appreciate this thing because here's a man that got everything. And then we went straight into the pandemic from there, remember? So it made me realize that, you know what? You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy in the space where you are, it doesn't matter, you know, because all those multimillionaires, they couldn't do nothing. They were stuck in the house just like us who I don't know if you're a multimillionaire or not, but the people who work for a living, they couldn't do anything. So take the money away from everything. If you, even Ellen DeGeneres, remember all her stuff started coming out, you know, frustration. So, you know, we have to be happy within ourselves, man, before we can depend on all these outside things. You can buy a big Mercedes, buy a big house and all that stuff, but you piss poor morally. You know what I'm saying? So we have to stay there. But is there anything else y'all want to live with somebody?
I'm sorry. What rapper did you just quote? I'm not gonna be able to leave.
That was T.I.
Tiana, living my life. I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna.
Hey, T.I., you know, when T.I. said piss poor morally, that made a lot of sense to me because I know a lot of people who got a lot of money, but they still not happy. Like, dude, you got the money. Just get up in the morning, jog. Like I do yoga all the time. So you have to find ways to fill your day up and be optimistic, you know, and that's where I am in life. But is there anything else y'all want to live? Because I got to get this up on IG. We got, let me see how much time we got left on here. I always like to check in. We got 5 minutes, y'all. We got 5 minutes. Anything y'all want to drop to the people? Did I leave anything out about Zeta Phi Beta? Is there anything y'all want to drop?
Well, you know what,
let
Robert?
the audience go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm happy to kind of close us out here, right? And let people know, everyone who's listening or who will watch later, how they can get a ticket to attend this awesome event. So we have a few ways that people can get tickets, okay? The first way is that they can definitely go to our website at www.taualphazeta.com. I'm going to ask one of my sorors to drop that website in the comments now. And then once they get to that site, what they can do is just click on upcoming events and click on the event to purchase their tickets. The next thing they can do is our event is actually searchable on Eventbrite, okay? So visit the Eventbrite website at www.eventbrite.com. Click on our event and purchase tickets. Wait for it for you and your guests because we want you to bring someone with you. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is that you can visit any post on any of our social media sites, either Instagram or Facebook, and access the link from there. And while you're there, I encourage you to follow and like us because as you see here, we're always dropping gems and you want to stay in touch with us. And, you know, I want also everyone to know that we have 2 ticket options for people to choose from. They can either do a general admission ticket or they can do a VIP ticket. And, you know, we probably all be hanging out in VIP, so you probably want to be there. And that VIP ticket gets you access to an amazing kind of casino style gaming area, very exclusive. So you want to be sure that you check that out. And, you know, it's also important for me to let everyone know that, you know, this chapter, this organization, we, you know, rally the support of everyone and we accept donations year round. So if there this is not an event that you can attend due to scheduling reasons, I want to encourage you to please consider making a donation, because while we're talking about how classy this event is going to be, and this honestly, in my opinion, is going to be the sexiest fundraising event of this season, right? Coming out of the pandemic, as we mentioned earlier, outside is open. So you want to be there, right? But if you can't be there, those donation dollars still support a terrific cause, okay? And so we want to be in a position to continue to give young women scholarships to help them excel in their lives, everything that we've been talking about. And so you can make those donations through our website or actually on the Eventbrite page. You can skip the ticket options and make a donation in any amount that is comfortable for you. But I want to encourage everyone right now to pick up your phone, grab your laptop, and help us to continue to do the good work that we have all kind of modeled our lives after. And again, you know, Robert, if I can just take a moment and just kind of reiterate, yes, like all of the things that, you know, I mentioned earlier to you. I think that as my Soror Tamara and as the president of my chapter, TAS, which I think is one of the most incredible chapters of this organization mentioned earlier, we're all kind of founded on those 4 principles, right? Scholarship, okay, service, sororis, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. And just to repeat, like what that means for me, like this sisterhood is so strong, it's so enduring, but it's soft and it's encouraging. And we stand in the gap for women who can't. And so these types of opportunities, while fun and while exciting, and while we're excited to get together and party, it's for a worthy cause. And so purchase a ticket today or click on the link and donate to help us to continue to provide scholarships to those young women that we can help to walk with them in entering into the next phases of their lives. So
Tamara, close us out. Hey, that was good, Stacey. I'm buying 1,000 tickets. Tamara, close us out, baby.
We appreciate your 1,000 tickets. Yes, we do. The Soror Stacey just exudes who we are as individuals in the chapter in Tau Zeta, but overall Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And Robert, it's been a pleasure to have us on here. Like we definitely appreciate you giving us this outlet and the opportunity to speak about who Tau Zeta is and Zeta Phi Beta and the good work that we're doing in the community. You know, this is going on year 7 that we've been doing scholarships, and we are close to giving away $20,000, right? Wow. In the upcoming year. So if any donation, like she said, any donation matters, right? And every donation counts, and we definitely appreciate it. But Robert, we appreciate you and all the work that you're doing in the community and the different people you bring on to speak to so many different topics. We want to gift you with a VIP ticket to our sneaker affair.
Are you gonna? I get a VIP ticket?
You get a VIP.
I'm going shopping tomorrow. I'm going shopping tomorrow.
I'm going to get something tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm checking the bottom of those sneakers when they come out. When you come,
are they gonna be lickable? They're gonna be lickable.
You're not gonna be. I wear mine. I put them in the box so you can lick the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord.
They don't touch the ground. But I just want to thank y'all for coming on. And like I say, I know it's still on the 26th. So I like in 2 weeks, if y'all have time, I would like to invite y'all personally into the studio. It's in Westchester, Illinois, but the show is at 9 o'clock on Sundays. So if y'all could come in, bring your group in there, we can do the show live at studio and we can really chum it up. I can have wine and crackers all there. I would love to have y'all. We got 1 minute left. I'm going to get up out of here because I got to get it on IG. I want to thank the ladies from Zeta Phi Beta for coming on the Culture Podcast. The strong ladies, they not just strong, but just very, very intelligent and just so loving, man. May God continue to bless y'all. Thank y'all for coming on. May God continue to bless everybody out there. Thank y'all for watching. And y'all got the internet going crazy.
Wait a minute,
y'all know
that,
right?
Robert, I got to do it.
You got 30 seconds.
Happy anniversary. Happy 25th anniversary to USSB Freeze, Captain Shipper, and Deuce Anchor Arctic. My ship is not with us, but that is us. Thank you so much, Robert.
We up out of here. Love y'all.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Blessings.
Bye.
Bye.